Welcome to everyone. This week video will cover the Bitcoin's market for the week of April 7, 2025. Before we start, make sure you read carefully the disclaimer. My last Bitcoin market update was on March 10, 2025. Since it's been almost a month from my last update, this week I will start by the weekly cycles. The 40-week cycle. The week of March 24th, the Bitcoin market trade on his 40-week cycle line. Last week the market crossed below his cycle line at 83,644, providing a 57,932 potential target. If this week the Bitcoin market confirm the crossing, we will have a potential of $25,712 or 30% decline. Notice the 57,932 target is right on his 18-month cycle line. When the Bitcoin market crossed below his 20-week cycle trend line, this confirmed the 109,356 January 20th was the 40-week cycle peak, and at that time we can expect the Bitcoin market drop to at least his 40-week cycle line. Since it's the first 40-week cycle since the last 18-month cycle on August 2024. Technically, the Bitcoin market should find support on his cycle line. If the market do not rebound this week and cross back above his cycle line, then the 57,932 target have to be considerate. How are we going to know when the 40-week cycle is over? The best way is to go to lower time frame. The 20-week cycle. The last 20-week cycle target 83,644. Triggered on the week of February 10, 2025. Have been met 2 weeks later. On February 24th, when the Bitcoin's market made a 78,197 low. The previous 20-week cycle formed a low on January 6th week, and was 18 weeks long. Matching the weekly average on the Hurst nominal model. If the actual 20-week cycle is as long than the previous one, we can anticipate the next 20 weeks low forming on the May 12th week, which will also be, according to the Hurst rule of synchronicity, the 40-week cycle low. The 80-day cycle. The last 80-day cycle was on January 13th. The first 80-day cycle since that date was certainly the 76,600 March 11th low. Technically, after forming his 80-day cycle low, the Bitcoin market should cross above his cycle line and provide an upside target. On April 2nd, the market found a very strong resistance on his cycle line. From the January low to the March low, 61 days elapsed. On the Hurst nominal model, the average length for the 80 days is 68 days. If the March 11th is the 80 days low, then it will be 7 days shorter than the average. But if we have the 80 days low forming now Thursday, April 3rd, the length, the 80 days cycle is 84 days. This is little bit long but not impossible since the market is in downtrend. Just as reminder, in a downtrend usually the cycles run longer than in bull trend. If the March 11th low is the 80 days low, and the Bitcoin market do not cross above his cycle line, then the potential 40-week cycle target become possible. Since the last crossing on February 19th, we don't have new trading signal. That's why it is important to analyze the lower time frame. With two signals, one successful and one unsuccessful, the success rate is 50%. The March 11th for now is the best candidate for the 80-day cycle low. In this case, the next one is expected on May 18th. The 40-day cycle. On March 31st, the Bitcoin market crossed above his cycle line at 82,509, providing an upside target at 88,418. $5,909 or 7.16% of potential profit. The crossing confirmed the March 11th is at least a 40-day cycle low, and since it's the second 40-day cycle since the January 9th low, by the Hurst rule of synchronicity, this confirm also the March 11th is the 80-day cycle. As you can see, it is very important to go to the lower time frame. This helped to confirm the longer cycles. The Hurst theory is like a puzzle, everything have to fit together. With the 88,563 high on April 2nd, the Bitcoin fulfilled his 88,418 target. The next 40-day cycle low is scheduled for the April 14th, plus or minus 2 days. With 3 successful trading signal, the success rate for the 40 days is 100%. In conclusion, May 18th is the expected date for 40-week cycle to form a low. The price target is 57,932. This will be right on his 18-month cycle line. This will represent 47% decline from the 109,356 all-time high. This target is very important to watch carefully. Any sharp crossing below this target will bring further decline. For more details analysis on the shorter term or to know how the cycles works in the stock market, I recommend to visit my website, Tradingmarketcycles.com. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up to support my channel. Share it with others, and subscribe so you don't miss any important updates. This concludes this week's video. Thank you for following along. And I'll see you next week with another exciting installment.